Welcome everyone to our Stockton Outreach Subcommittee meeting. I just wanted to do a quick housekeeping for you all. So just in terms of assisting with our ASL interpretation, this is just a reminder for folks to introduce themselves before they make a comment. So if you're just going to say something, you just want to start off, this is Stephanie, and you can continue on with your comment just to make sure the ASL interpretation is going smoothly. And then for our interpreters, if anyone's speaking too quickly, this super informal meeting, you're welcome to just interrupt us and let us know. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Cass.
All right, hello guys. If you don't mind, I kind of want to do a quick round of introductions. I'll start first. My name is Cassandra Melching, and I am the Outreach and Communications Representative, and I will now be helping to facilitate these subcommittee meetings. I work very closely under Heather and Jamie, as you guys all formally know. So I'm excited to meet you guys. And we'll go ahead and pass it off to Douglas.
Thank you, Cash, for introduction. Yes, my name is Douglas Mitchell, and I am a resident of Stockton, South Stockton, and I would like to wish everyone a happy holiday and have a good health for the new year. So I hope I see you back again next year. Okay, so thank you. And also, I'm an advocate with people with disability. I'm on different board on the mental health board, as well as the juvenile prevention commission, and the men attached with disability as well. So that's what I do. Thank you. And also, I'm a school trustee from the San Joaquin Board of Education as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, we'll pass it off to Nate. Nate, we can't hear you. I don't know if your sound's working. Still can't hear you.
We heard you for just like 1 second, Nate. Nate, feel free if you feel comfortable to type something up in the chat and maybe we can read it aloud to everyone.
So while he's doing that, we'll go ahead and pass it off to Brianna.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Brianna Rubio and I'm a public health educator with San Joaquin County Public Health Services. Happy to be here today. And I will pass it on over to Heather.
Hello, thank you. Hi team, I think we are down to the rest of us. We know who we are. This was more for Cass. And then we have 2 ASL interpreters here. Thank you, ASL team. We appreciate you. I'm Heather Hanks. I do the outreach and communications team under Jamie, and Cass is on my team, and Stephanie is a surrogate on my team. Steph, you're next.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Ng and I am a Senior Air Quality Specialist in the Community Strategies and Resources Department, which oversees the implementation of AB 617. And I think with that, Brian, you haven't gone yet, right?
There we go.
Oh, no, thanks. Hey everyone, my name is Brian Moore and I work at CARB in the Office of Community Air Protection with Scott Wall, who has been your community liaison. I do have some news that I should share with you all, is that we are very happy for Scott, but while he was on vacation and I was subbing for him, he actually got a promotion. So he's moving on to work with our Transportations and Toxics Division as a manager, which is awesome. So in the interim, though, I will be trying to take his place as best I can. So I'm going to drop my my email into this chat too. And so, yeah, Stephanie and Heather are CSC members. Feel free to share that information if that helps you. Scott wishes he could have done it personally, but it was weird because he's gone for a month and he found out like 3 days into his trip. So yeah, nice to see you all.
Oh my God! I'm gonna miss guys. I'm the closest one to talk to him all the time. Oh, okay. I get you, Brian. We're gonna be talking more.
Yeah, no, sounds good. And he's willing. He wanted to leave his door open. Like he's dealing more with actually a lot of port stuff. So yeah, if things come up like that, we may still cross paths with Scott, and he has been really helpful on our end to get us up to speed. So if you do have any concerns or questions, feel free to email him. Even still, yeah.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much.
And I'll just read Nate's message to us all. He says, hello, everyone. I've been the Director of Transportation at Stockton Unified School District since August 23 of 2022. Most of you know me from monthly and some subcommittee meetings beginning April 2020 when I was still comfortably retired. I'm the former Director of Planning for the San Joaquin Regional Transit District. Thank you, Nate, for popping that in.
All righty. Well, it was a pleasure meeting all you guys. And with that, we'll go ahead and just jump right in and get started. So first up on the agenda, we have discussed residential and commercial lawn and garden outreach. So we want to kind of take this moment to talk about a plan to conduct outreach for the available residential and commercial lawn and garden funding. Any thoughts and how we can go about with that? We've got for the Stockton area, we have funding available for the replacement of 50 units. And then on the commercial lawn and garden side, we have funding available for the replacement of 5 units. So how should we go about, getting the word out there?
And this is Stephanie. Maybe I'll jump in because we did announce it at the last meeting, but maybe some folks weren't there, that we're really excited that the project plan for residential and commercial lawn and garden did get approved. And so the funding's available and it's for replacing older units with new electric units. So that's either if someone owns a business, a lawn and garden business, or else even residents that have older equipment at home, they can trade in their equipment for newer, cleaner units.
Any thoughts?
This is Heather. I have a thought / question. My thought is on the commercial side. Does anyone know, is there do the chambers of commerce have commercial landscapers as membership? Would it benefit us to maybe hit up the chamber or some kind of, I don't know, organization that maybe gathers that type? Just thinking how it's going to be interesting to find folks specific to the area doing commercial, short of maybe driving around the neighborhood and stopping folks that are on the side of the, working someone's front yard. No, I think I will look into that, because I think that might be what we need to do. I can tell you that we've sent a couple mailers for our trees and some of the school stuff. And so I could see maybe pushing a little ad to a chamber organization or something like that that might hit the email inboxes of agencies like that. So, but we definitely Cass, do we expect SB to join us?
She was supposed to, and then I just reached out to her to ask, hey, are you going to be joining? And I haven't heard from her, okay. So I'm assuming she got held up.
Yeah, she and then on the residential side, if anybody wants to remind me, I know, Steph, we talked about moving money, right? And we never formally made a distinctive move one way or another. But is there still a swell of interest? Potentially to fund more mowers, only because, as we talked about last time, that 50 mower mark isn't a lot for if we wanted to put some momentum behind some outreach, I feel like we would run out of steam very quickly because of our lack of inventory. So just curious if there's a collective feeling as to whether we think we're revisiting that and might actually someday end up with more funding, or desire that, I should say, maybe even ask that. I feel like SB, if SB were here, I feel like she would say she definitely desires it, because she's given us feedback a few times that the public, they put it on display at Tune In, Tune Up events, and the public is very interested. Yeah. I'm going to keep talking. Another thought I had. Jumping ahead in the agenda, I can't remember. I think we're also at some point just touching base back on our retailer options for Burn Cleaner. And I say Burn Cleaner, and I should put $1 in the jar because we are officially official becomes when you won't find it on our website anymore. You can still find the name of the program on our website. We called it Burn Cleaner for a decade. But as you know, we're at the point where we're not really asking folks to choose, check before they can burn. We're asking them to just choose not to burn. And so the burn cleaner implies there's still burning going on. So we're leaving that behind and just emphasizing fireplace and wood stove change out. And so I'm thinking we're percolating on an idea in our southern region, CSC, to have like an evening showcase where a couple of the local hearth retailers bring some images and some information along with our staff out to like a coffee shop, and we advertise it to the immediate area, and we invite the general public for like a quick workshop, like almost open house, to pop in and maybe start having those conversations about change out. And so I'm thinking if we did something similar, hi SP, in Stockton, like if we set up some kind of, because we're definitely have an approved change out plan, right? We're ready to do those. Maybe we do the same kind of thing. We've got a couple interested retailers that Cass has been talking to. And maybe we find a spot somewhere in the boundary near downtown or wherever you guys could, maybe we go to a couple communities. Let's be real, right? We know that they're kind of different, especially with the dividing freeways and stuff. It really could seem like two parts of the world, and do an evening showcase with hearth retailer information and maybe potentially generate some interest for mowers. At the same time, bring a mower. Douglas.
I have well, right now in my community, they're burning wood already. I can smell it. They're burning. I don't know where, but they are. But I know that there's some city or they have regulations the date of when you burn. There's some that you do burn. And now because I know those things because I've been educated by that. There's in the cities where there's a lot of regulation what to do. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people coming from different countries that still stuck with their own their own way to see how they're gonna burn the trash or garbage or their wood or what paper in the neighborhood. So I do see a lot of smoke coming from the air that really it's kind of minty. It's kind of foggy around this area. So I don't know. It looks like it's gonna rain, but it looks like it's not gonna rain. So it's kind of like a weird weather. You know what I mean? So I'm a little concerned about the marketing aspect of whether or not people are so-called non-resident who doesn't know what not to do and what to do to be educated as well to in that point. So that's my concern. But they're more than welcome to do whatever they want. But as far as just being more earthy and friendly, that's all I'm saying. Thank you.
This is Heather. That's a great point, Douglas. And I can tell you that one of the other things, so we have, as you all know, we are working on getting money into the hands of the project plans so that we can fund the measures we've all set forth. And in the meantime, we're still pushing forward, and we've got the ability to do probably, I think we're going to look at billboards. I'm actually not sure, but we're going to do burning trash outreach, I should say. I'm saying it backward, but we're going to message against it. We've done billboards in some of the other regions, but I'm just sort of percolating on the idea that, maybe there's a direct mail piece, maybe there's some billboards, there's this collective swell of sort of general advertising that I'm working on across the board for all of our communities. And not burning trash is one for every single one. So can definitely mark that box that I'm working on a campaign against that.
But Heather, the thing is that I'm all for that. But the thing like last election, we had so much garbage. I mean, election, we had a ballot.
Physical pieces of material.
And then it's a waste of material instead of we have to throw them in the garbage, and you can see our recycle bag was so thick that we had to send it out. But the thing is, like you say, to advocate against. I just feel like a lot of papers go to waste. I do think that they don't have time to look at the
whatever comes in. Just go. It's just like the mailer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like PR and they're okay. No, it's garbage. It's not even in trash. They just throw it away. Right. But like the banner, something like a bus stop.
Yes, you like that?
Something more tangible where they can look at it without, and they can every day when they see that, and then they get back in their mind like, oh, okay, I see it. They're constantly subliminally looking at those type of advertising, saying that we're against this. With the newspaper, people just think it's trash and they're not going to notice it. So everybody's advertising, and sometimes it's good. There's a lot of information that has gone missing and not educated because of the type of negativity that goes around those things. That's all.
Got it. Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
SB, before you joined us, we were kind of touching base. I think on our agenda, we've got a lawn and garden again. Yay, wonderful news, approved. But I was kind of throwing it out there just for discussion. Wanted to take the temperature, and I certainly know you've got the feedback that the public was interested, but do you feel that there's a swell and we're going to continue the conversation kind of in our main meeting to try and get funding for more mowers? Because I'm at that weird spot where how much do we put behind it because there's only 50? And do we just try and advertise the mowers as an offset of that we were talking about maybe doing a wood stove change out little evening showcase at a coffee shop and invite a couple retailers down and advertise, and while we talk about switching out fireplaces, we can talk about mowers and things too, and probably get through our 50. But are you going to do sort of a push for more? Where do we stand? What do you think?
Well, I think that maybe we can start with the folks that already signed up, that.
Oh, yes, your original list. So we hit that with an announcement.
List, the ones that Jonathan has, and then well, not Jonathan, but Catholic Charities has.
Yes. And
then the ones that we have. And so what I was thinking is if we sent out, from you all, like here's, if they provided their email addresses, correct, and then they provided their names in terms of contact. Some of them did provide phone numbers, and then we could let them know, since they did sign up at these different events that we were at, and say, there's funding available. There's only funding for 50, and so first qualified, it's kind of first come, first serve, some kind of like, obviously, it's going to be a digital email flyer to those folks first, so that way they know that, since they were present and they have, we have their information. I would start with them because it's quite a few people, right? Because we were at all the Tune In, Tune Up events in Stockton, and a lot of those residents are part of AB 617, and then we were at the larger events. So I think with all of those lists, I believe you have a copy of all of them. I don't know if they're compiled into any kind of spreadsheet or how you do the mail outs. Yeah. So I think that if we start with them, because they had signed up, and let them know, before we go to the great larger public, because since there's only 50, and we were even at Washington School as well, and we got signups there as well. And then I think we kind of like go from there, because like, let's say like, a couple of the parents from Washington, school, when they get that email or that text, then they're going to like let other people know.
Yeah. It'll go quick.
Yeah. And I think it's going to go pretty quick.
Okay.
So I don't know what the timeline is for you all to do that follow-up, but then maybe do that first immediately, so that then we can go from there. But we know that we're going to need more funding in that area, because for the whole entire AB 617, 50 lawnmowers is going to go. Yeah.
Douglas, I see your hand.
I agree with what Effie trying to say, and I agree that I believe that the people that are 115, which I'm part of, I just, like I said, if they go to their fair, if they go to their events and everything, that's fine. Paper, there won't be ways to just give them and educate them and reuse that sack again, put it back in their package and come back again with the same load of flyer again. So I think that I would like to have that proficiency, that type of a dollar amount are saved instead of being thrown to waste. And I agree with also about you guys have to give me a sample of the electric motor, because I know I tried that electric motor and I'm kind of against it. But like you said, I do believe Heather told me that it was they improved it. Mm-hmm. I was disgusted because this is the second time I had electric motor by somebody who gave it to it, and I was sitting when the moist hit the grass, it doesn't cut. You know.
Oh, what brand, Douglas? We got to give you the right brand.
Yeah, so hopefully if you give me a sample, I'll give you a 2 thumbs up if you allow me to test the sample, because I'm so against electric motor because I have tried. I'm
gonna win you over.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, even though, and I will definitely give my 2 cents about that. Okay, thank you.
And this is Stephanie. SB, I love that idea. That's a great reminder about that email list that you all worked really hard to collect information. I think on our district side, we can, before the end of the year, we definitely want to make sure these folks know this information. So I think on our side, we can draft up an email that really spells out kind of the steps of how to participate in this program, and definitely shoot that out. And maybe I'll look to our team to see if we don't already have that list. Are we good to connect with, I think, Hector or Tanisha about that? Would they have the information?
Yeah, I was a little nervous trying to remember where that lives, or yes. So we could definitely circle around with them, or I would attend to.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know how Catholic Charities did theirs, but for ours, after each event, we did like a mini report back to you all with Jamie, right? And so those lists went in there. And so for Catholic Charities, I would think they would have probably done the same thing. And if not, we still have contact with Jonathan, and we can ask Jonathan where that's at if Hector doesn't know. So yeah, because Jonathan,
he's not gone. He's just
yeah, he's around, so we can ask Jonathan.
Perfect. This is Stephanie again. So I think that'll be one of the actions that comes out of this meeting for the district, is to go ahead and email that list out with all the information. And it sounds like, I'm sure there's plenty of people on there. So potentially, I think in this conversation about maybe if there are funds that need to be reallocated, I really think a strong kind of show of people who are already interested in applying is something we can bring back to the committee, given the fact that there were some people, I think a good number of people that were maybe kind of not really supportive or not really interested at the time. I definitely think seeing lots of residents that are interested would kind of support that conversation.
Yeah, truly.
I already talked. I saw Jonathan at the city hall meeting, and is he working at the Catholic Charity at the moment, or he just resigned from it and move on to the next phase of his work ethic? I mean, work life. I'm not sure. I remember he said that he left Catholic Charity. Huh?
He works for CEJA.
Okay, so instead of having pulling Jonathan into our group, I think he had a lot on his plate that I had spoke to him that he's trying to do as much as he can with another project he's doing at the city at the moment. I think your job, we believe whatever you say comes from you and I think that's something that you could work as a marketing consultant as well, instead of relying on someone else helping. Can Heather or somebody else find another organization that will not to keep pulling the person that may not? Definitely, go ahead.
No, that's a great clarification. I want to make sure that, yeah, we definitely, to clarify, we're not pulling Jonathan back into this project. It's just following up with him to see where his list of, he collected a list of contacts. So we're just wanting to get that back from him. But I totally agree. We understand Jonathan's on
yes.
to like bigger and better projects. And, you know, of course, I'm sure he still would be interested in working with this group, but we know he's kind of off doing different things. So I totally agree with that, Douglas. I think it'll just be following up with him on that list, not really asking him to come back to our group to work on things.
I just want to say FP is doing a great job, and it just, you know, just not because I can sense in her voice like she's very insecure. Oh, but we're gonna bring him back, and he's doing things. I don't know how they're gonna do this and that. I'm like, but FP, you're doing great. I think you're doing what you can. So believe in yourself. I think you could do it, and forget about what other people say. Just focus on what your organization would do, and we'll go from there. You know, I mean, that's it. That's all I can hear. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all. But kudos to you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and move on just for the sake of time. The next point is strategic planning for 2023. So I'm going to share my screen, and we kind of want to talk about developing a schedule for upcoming meetings and outreach opportunities. So anything that you guys can think of if you know there's, you know, future events or things that we can do to help get the word out there. That would be great. But where did my button go? Share screen. Can you guys see? Nope. Did it share the right one?
Yeah, it's the Outreach Subcommittee 2023 planning.
Perfect. I have a different window highlighted on my screen, so I was like, oh no. Okay. So this is our page, and just kind of want to plan out for 2023. Any thoughts, anything that you guys have heard? I know SB and I spoke earlier, and she had mentioned that there is a potential, there's going to be an event in March with Delta College, and that might be something that we can piggyback on and kind of partner up with to help get the word out. So we have that down tentatively until, you know, we can vet that out as time gets closer. But is there any other things that you folks have heard of that you'd like to share?
This is SB. Yeah, so I was on a call with the folks that are doing the country club area improvement. So they are going to have like a pop-up event. They don't have the date yet, but they said mid-December, so this month. And I suggested, because they were going to have, they're going to go table on their own to the farmers market, and they're going to do that. But at their pop-up event that they're going to have in the community, that's on the border right there with AB 617 at the Michael's Pizza, Michael's New York style pizza, that would be so that we can kind of add ourselves to that, because what I told them was that they should come and present, because they're trying to get community input for the improvements for the country club area, right? So that where there's a mix of both residents and businesses, and it's just a couple of blocks away from our border of AB 617, like right off the 5 freeway, right there. It borders our area. So instead of like, you know, if they're going to have something, we can be there, and then they can also let our committee know, hey, if there's residents that want input into this working group, you know, kind of, and let them know that improvement's going, and they have some funding from the COG, the San Joaquin COG, but then they're trying to get additional funding for other improvements for the street. So, and it's in that mixed area where there's no sidewalks and other things that, you know, our areas face that are county and city. So that's one of them. As soon as I get that date, I'll share that with you all, because I'm part of that working group, and then and that's one thing that we can be present at, and it's going to be this month. And then obviously there are other things coming up for the future. Is going to be Earth Day. As soon as they give us that date for Earth Day, that's a huge event. Mm-hmm. And then there's the outreach event from Delta College. As soon as we have that information as well, we can get that to you. And then as we get things, I think, we can just, have people populate the document or give I don't know if you want us to send it to you, Cassandra, whatever's easier.
SB, this is Stephanie. Will you share the name of the event that you were saying was happening? Did you say this month?
They called it a pop-up event, and hold on, what is that working group called?
While she's looking, this is Heather. Are we still utilizing our Google event tracker? Are we wanting to we pull that up and capture it in there, or are we shifting it over to this? What's our plan, team? Oh, okay, this one. Got it. I see you just dropped it in there. Nicely done.
So it's Country Club Boulevard Complete Streets Project is the name, and it's a working group that they have. And but the project itself is called Country Club Boulevard Complete Streets Project, and it's with the county and the COG, and then some of the engineering firm that they hired. I think it's HDR is the engineering firm, and so they're the ones that are part of the working group, and they're trying to get public involvement. So that's what the pop-up will be, and I was saying to have it at the pizza place because then you'll have a lot of folks there. Mm-hmm. And then that would serve our purpose as well. And they're not going to mind us being there. So it'll be very strategic because it'll be just them and us. It's not going to be this big fair. And then they're going to, I told them they should kind of have incentives where like whoever fills out their survey, they can give them some kind of certificate for the businesses on the country club, to support the small business. And then the resident who's filling out the survey can get some kind of, benefit as well. And so then it'll benefit us, AB 617, to have information there as well.
Okay, those are all great thoughts. We have that put down. Are there any others?
I have a question about that, SB. Do you get the impression that pop-up, like you said, it's a collective working group? Does it sound like this is going to happen on a regular basis?
Yeah, they're going to have several type of public events, meetings, interfacing with the community so that they can receive the input that they need to move forward with the project and then to obtain additional funding. So as they move forward and give us additional dates, because this meeting that we had yesterday, it was, I don't think it was like well advertised to like even the CBOs, because you know how you get these messages, like all kinds of emails, and then it looks like, oh, they're just letting us know this is happening. It wasn't like, come to this meeting and give input. It wasn't until I got a call from one of the consultants and said, hey, we need actual, the CBOs to show up. So.
Well, I mean, it's too bad the country club isn't in the border, because I'd be like, hey, we should get them our commercial program, commercial landscape equipment. Maybe we go south of the border and find the other.
Yeah, no, but they're like right, like where that's going to happen. It's our borders, like right. I have the map here.
It's like right there, huh?
Right below it, yeah.
Too bad.
It's like their country club. I don't know if is like, yeah. Then we border right there. So then the thing is that we'll be able, like if they have the event right outside a couple blocks away, then we'll be able, I mean, all of our people over here hit that area to get the pizza,
Yeah.
And then they're going to take care of that. So we can just piggyback on their event.
Cool.
Hi, this is Brianna here from Public Health. So we actually, our CalFresh Healthy Living program just partnered with the City of Stockton Community Centers because we're going to start offering some of our programs there. I do know they have a lot of, we just met with Stephanie, who's the coordinator this morning. They do have a lot of events that they host for their family. So I know Van Buskirk, they reach a lot of the Conway, the residents there that live in the Conway. And then I know there's also Stribley. I don't have, we do have their schedule for December, and I know they have a lot of holiday events coming up for the family. but that's also a good place. I can ask Stephanie to see if they have a schedule for their upcoming 2023 events, and then I can go ahead and add them to the tracker.
Cool. That'd be fantastic. Thank you, Brianna. Those are great opportunities.
Douglas has his hand raised.
Go for it, Douglas.
I haven't. Yeah, I was going to tell you guys. Also, there's another event always coming up every month. That's called a car show and a motorcycle show that are offered by. I don't know if you know Betty Ramirez, FD. If you know her, she's the one that.
She is.
Oh, you do? Okay. She always gives me the flyer from the Mexican Heritage, where they have their event there as much as they can. They have like maybe 3 events already so far in the outside there, and they have the vendor booth there, and they have seats, chairs. All the local politicians were there, and they have food there. Those are the things that they're driving to have more and more Chicano representation in the community as well, and the Latin community as well. For that particular organization, I think that's something that might help that. And I know the mayor also was going to have for health fair as well. I believe it was going to be in April. And where everybody's going to be going, it's going to be right in the area of Victory Park, and they're going to be setting up a lot of those hair for awareness and all that stuff going on in the middle of April. So there's a lot of things coming up for next year, but right now, like everyone said, there's a lot of events coming up for the party of a Christmas, you know. So that's something that everybody is doing that individually, you know. So in different parties and opening, like I know that Carpet Food Wild is having an open party there that I was already invited, and I had two county supervisor party there next week, and then I got invited there. And also and I think the city of Stockton is going to have there in next week for their open house. So that it'd be great for you guys to have some share what we're talking about. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Douglas, and thank you, Steph, for taking the notes.
Okay. This is SB. Going back to the comment regarding Conway Homes, one of the ladies that, and I'm sure Douglas, you know her, the one that's the president there for the center. I was talking to her, and I think that in terms of maybe like how they do have their events, but really having her involved and if she can't make the meetings, obviously, because it's during the day, that maybe we can like directly make sure she gets the information, because she's really good about disseminating that to the different community members at Conway Homes. So I think that's another thing we can do, is that at these different leaders that we have in the community, like, we have the Tree Stockton people in the Midtown and different areas. So have a targeted list that we can send out as the funding becomes available. And that way, these key individual residents that already naturally organize or are already designated leaders, either by, themselves doing that or through an organization like at Conway Homes. And that way we can get the information to them in the most direct manner. And then I know that for public health advocates, there was somebody on the call, right? Here with us or no?
Yes, Brianna's with public health.
Okay, yeah, and so the is it the interns, or I don't know if they were interns, and I don't want to say what their title was incorrectly, but they were really great. They were at the city hall meeting, and I think that getting the information to them is great as well, because they're in the community and they're basically up and coming activists, and as they move forward in their studies. So that was another thing that they were very, very good at what they were doing. You guys are doing a great job.
All righty, all good stuff. Okay, so we can move on to the next topic, which is next steps, fireplace and wood stove change out retailer engagement. I have been currently speaking with 2 retailer companies, Gorman Stoves and Hearth of Oakdale, and they are both eager to be able to participate in this program and provide, you know, the units. And so currently just kind of trying to think of some ways that they could advertise and get the word out that they are available and are part of and familiar with this program. So we're in the works of getting all that set up and ready to go. And then other things, the next meeting will be held Friday, February 17th at 2 p.m. And outside of that, that's pretty much it. Are there any thoughts, questions, last minute things we want to touch on? Got a little bit of time.
This is Heather. I do think as we sort of like looking ahead, you know, we did strategic planning in our last main meeting and sort of looking out for the next year. You know, we're kind of pulling all of our resources together and trying to look at the lens out past, you know, the first couple months of the year and really collectively see what's going to come down the pipe with those other project plans. So keeping in mind that we have our ear to the ground with the work of the other subcommittees as well. And I like that bright pink sticker that says SB is doing a great job.
Thanks. This is SB. I was going to ask on the for the retailers and getting the information out. What's the total number that we have there? That way we kind of have an idea, like as we do our outreach of the funding. You know how we said 50 lawnmowers for the lawnmower program, but for the
I see this, Heather. I see Stephanie looking, so I figured she's going to provide us that answer in a moment. The basic units we're learning, obviously, to get into like a natural gas insert is probably at least $4,000. So you can imagine we're going to spend $4,000 per household, up to what, $5,000 if somebody went with an electric heat pump. But so we could do, you know, 100 households times $4,000, and I don't know how much money we've got, Steph.
It's for 100 devices.
Okay.
So folks remember originally we had an amount of funding for 100 devices, but kind of in this conversation about how devices are just everything's getting more expensive.
Yes.
We allocated more money, but it's still the same number of units. It just covers more for people.
The more money in the per unit, what we will pay out to an individual, that increased. So that hopefully covers the gap of what they have to come out of pocket.
Yes.
Okay, this is SB then so let's say we have like on the max end 5,000 per household, and the devices that would, so if let's say they go with the electric device, then what we're switching out, is it just like the wood burning stove, or is it with the fireplace?
So we're addressing either or both, all of the above, SB. So we're looking, you know, the way to get the funding is to eliminate the pollution source. So we would have to, take out either their stove or their fireplace.
Okay, this is SB again. So going back to a point Douglas made earlier about trying to educate the community about the contaminants that they're basically causing in their own home with the fireplace piece of it. I remember a comment from one of the residents from Boggs Track, and like he spoke to the cultural component, and she was saying, "Oh, I really like the smell of the
crazy, huh?
Yeah, of the fireplace, what have you." And we were trying to explain to her what that meant, you know, as far as inhalation and everything health wise. And I had said this before, but if we could come up with a little animation video, because then people pay attention to that, really short cute animation video that kind of demonstrates that, like, oh, you're like enjoying, quote unquote, the fireplace, but this is really what's going on, right? So then, and that way people, regardless of language, can understand that, right? Because it's a visual and it's not just a flyer. It could be, we can share it through Instagram and all our social media. And it's a little, you know, a little animation, right? And then you could still put it in more than one language, like we do the voiceover. So that way, depending on which group is sharing, they could share it, like, you know, depending on, like I said, I think that it would serve the purpose, not just for us, 8617, but for the whole valley, right? Because
you're right. You're very much right, SB.
Yeah. So that's what's one of the asks I had early on, like, you know, several times as EJAG, but here we ask it again.
Time to resurrect it.
Yeah.
And that's a great ask. I mean, even in just the work our agency is doing, even in the work in the board item to make that increase to the funding for the units for individuals, we also discussed with our board needing to further message the health impact and what's actually happening, so people understand, right? Maybe you don't even have a fireplace, but you need to understand, that breathing in that fine particulate matter smell is harmful to your health. Let's be real, I grew up in front of a fireplace too. There's some nostalgia there, but my parents have given that up. Hermit doggy.
Yeah, she's in the office with me.
That's adorable. It begs the question: how do you sign a barking sound, Monique? What does it look like? Oh, okay, got it. Cool. I'm learning, Douglas. I'm learning. Fascinating. Good stuff. Thanks, Douglas, for helping us learn. Okay, team. In the 9 minutes we have left, what's up, Steph?
I just in this conversation now that Douglas and SB are reminding us, maybe for this email that we send out to this group of residents that was interested in incentives, we'll fold in all of the available ones. So we'll talk.
I like it. I like it.
We'll talk about residential lawn and garden, just so folks that, you know, it could be that they're interested in all of the things that are available. So we'll make sure, just as a commitment, to fold in kind of everything that's available to residents.
Right, like we'll open the floodgates of information. They'll be so happy they signed up. Yes, got it. Okay. Cass, I'm going to hand it back to you. I've got someone urgently standing at my door. I'll be right back.
All righty, no problem. Okay, so I think we pretty much covered everything. Is there any last minute concerns or anything? Or we're good? This is a great meeting, lots of great input, and we've got all the notes. And so it'll be exciting to get that email typed up with all the information, and that way we can get it out. And I appreciate you, Nate. I saw your comment that when school resumes, you're willing to help share. So that's great. Any way we can help get the word out. So with that, alrighty guys, well, we'll go ahead and end just a couple of minutes early, and you all have a fantastic rest of your Friday and a safe weekend, and we will see you in February. Alrighty.
Happy New Year and we're happy holiday, everyone. Stay safe.
Everyone. This is our last CSC subcommittee for the year, so take care, everyone. We'll see you in January.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.